Hi, I am Bay, and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And today we're talking about Magic Bites, the first book in the Kate Daniels series.
Yep.
So by Ilona Andrews, which I don't know if you know this, if you came across this when you were looking stuff up, but it is actually a husband and wife duo.
I heard at the beginning of the thing that the copyright belongs to first a man Andrews and then a wife Andrews, or a woman Andrews, and I was like, I don't know why, and I don't know why he gets top billing over her in the copyright bit, and then I forgot. I didn't care enough to remember or look into it. Let me. No, I don't know. No, that doesn't. I don't know if that makes it make more sense or not. I don't know. I don't know.
So she was
Gordon,
born.
not Andrews. Ilona Gordon and Andrew Gordon. That's why it's Ilona Andrews.
So she was born in the Soviet Union. They live in Texas. They met in college. And I was looking for anything. Sorry. So this book is set in, let me explain real quick. Here's why I was like, I really wanted to know about the author, because this book is set in Atlanta. And for anybody that doesn't know, I live in Atlanta, which is unfortunate for this book and for me. Because I knew I was either, on the biography section, there's nothing that says anything about Atlanta. Okay. Anything about Georgia? No. Okay. Yeah. So nothing about that. So I'm going to go with no. Bless you. So soon as I was like, oh, it's set in Atlanta, I was like, I'm either going to love that or hate it. Bless you. And, anyway. So this book came out in 2007. And part of the reason why I wanted to read the series is because this series and the Dresden Files are the two series that people really recommend if you like the Mercy Thompson series.
Yeah.
What's up?
I just went onto the Wikipedia. And because they've got a forum and stuff as well. And there was some confusion on the forum about the fact that Andrew Gordon is usually referred to by his surname on the forum. And regarding this, he said, I know it can be confusing, but here's the deal. My legal, or if you prefer, government name is Andrew Beauregard Gordon. Is that how you say it, Beauregard? I didn't even know that Beauregard was a name. I see it and I'm like, it's not like a shocking name to me, but it just amused me. That's all. His middle name comes from the Confederate General PGT Beauregard, who fired on Fort Sumter and basically started the Civil War. Is that accurate?
Yep, that's right. Noah, I have a question.
What?
You know more about the Civil War than I do, I think. Obviously. Did General Beauregard start the Civil War at Fort Sumter?
That name. I mean, there's a ton of Civil War people named Beauregard. It's very famous back then. It's very common. It's a very common name back then. That specifically, I don't know. I've never heard that, but that doesn't mean it's not true.
Neither one of us know, honestly.
I'm Googling it. It's fine.
Neither one of us are American history people.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
His wiki page, Pierre Gustave Toutant Beauregard, was a Confederate general officer of Louisiana Creole descent who started the American Civil War by leading the attack on Fort Sumter.
Honestly, there are a lot of Beauregards.
How does it feel to know that the man who started the American Civil War's name was Pierre Gustave?
There's a lot of French names from the
Oh,
South. That's
I guess
not weird.
Louisiana.
Yeah, that's
It's
not
just
weird.
very French. It's very French, and I wasn't expecting it to be a French descendant,
Yeah,
and I don't know why. Louisiana.
That's not weird, and that's not weird in America though, for it not to be an English name though. I mean,
Yeah. Every time I hear Pierre though, 60's mom dated a guy named Pierre a while back. I think it was when I was like pregnant with daughter. And I made a joke when he first found out about it. He was French Canadian. And his name was Pierre, and I was just like, hey babe, you could call him Papa Pierre. And it was just a running joke for a while. And then just every so often I'll still bring it up. I'm just like, hey, Papa Pierre. And he's like, shut up, you broke up with him like 7 years ago. It's fine. I'm like, no, it's not.
Okay, so
sorry.
I guess we'll do our normal format. Kind of. I don't know how we should tackle this. Ratings?
Kill me?
Okay, I actually have a very specific rating. So I was watching a video today, and it was like weddings, like expectation versus reality, and I saw one that was like a cake one, and it was like this really pretty, like white cake with like blue like roses and stuff, and it was like what I wanted versus like what I got.
I
don't know. That's how I feel. Sorry, wedding stuff's on the brain right now.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I'd like. I'm looking at a list. I actually don't.
I have big feelings.
Like, have you ever eaten a meal and just been so baffled the entire time?
Yes.
What was it?
I don't know. Like, well, you know what? No, I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't, because
I need
this
baffling
was
food.
This was an experience like no other. I'll put it that way. I was, you know what? I was overwhelmed the entire time.
I was too, and a big part of that is because, you know, my rating's just confused. Okay, that's my rating. I'm confused
because I'm confused as well. So
like, because not only is it zero exposition, there's zero clear scene changes. Zero.
Before we get to that, there's something I do want to address. So here's a trigger warning, a content warning, less than a trigger warning. Content warning for slurs.
I missed any slur in there.
Okay.
I was
content
so
warning
confused,
for. Okay, content warning for slurs and like racial insensitivity, I guess is how I'll put it. There was some weirdness with like the way that some things were referred to. Like there was like one time I just wrote this down. But this happened a number of times, but like mongoloid hair was one of them that I wrote down. And I was like, which really stuck out to me because I was like, what the fuck did I just hear? And there were a couple moments like that. And I was thinking,
I'm gonna search for the word mongoloid in the book and see
which is why it wasn't the same word over and over again, but it was a couple moments like that. And I was like, huh? And I bring it up because at first my brain was like, well, it was 2007. And I was like, you know what?
The hair has mongoloid texture.
And I was like, you know what? Even in 2007, I don't feel like...
Wait, are the mongoloids still a people? I'm not going to lie. Is it even still a country? Is it still a country?
Well, Mongolia is a country, but the
Mongolians now, aren't they?
What?
The Mongolians.
It's eugenic. It's like it's so the reason why
racial classification.
The reason why we don't use that is because it's a racial classification used by eugenicists, so we don't. That's a big frown no word.
It's Mongolian now.
African Americans, people from Africa, people of African ancestry, and people from Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Like Thailand and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, and my brain also went, well, she's Russian, she doesn't know better. But then sorry, so like I totally infantilized Russians. But then which was problematic. But then my brain was also like, but she's married to an American, he should know better. So that stuck out to me as like, oh, that was weird.
Okay.
So I don't know. There were a few yikesy things like that in there. Like worse, at least House of Night, they're like flopping around doing their best and being offensive.
Look,
I think accidentally.
Look, their attempts to be so unoffensive makes them so offensive. They're like, we have to have a gay in there. We have to.
Yeah. Yeah. House of Night, I think they're coming from a good place, but they're missing the mark. That's
because they're not authentic in any of their beliefs. That's why Stevie Ray was saying retard in the first book, and then 4 books later is lecturing Aphrodite about how harmful that word is. I'm like, Stevie Ray, you said it 2 months ago. Thrice.
She saw the Hillary Duff commercial or something. She saw the Hillary Duff commercial from like 2006 and like changed her mind.
That's what I mean though. Nothing that the casts claim to give a shit about is authentic. Otherwise, it wouldn't be written so offensively.
Yeah. So it was just something that was really jarring. Like just like what am I listening to? So hey, what's up? How you doing?
Can we talk about this? Can we talk about this fucking narrator for a minute? I need to.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
The narration was like we spoke yesterday. We spoke yesterday about this. I don't care. I need to again. When you pick a narrator, actually, also I don't think the hints of Southern in her voice sounded bad. So I'm wondering if the narrator is actually from the South.
So okay, first of all, to be fair to authors who are traditionally published, I don't think they get to pick their narrators.
Well, that's fine, but the thing is,
I was gonna say, but I was also gonna say, yeah, the Southern accents for once didn't make me want to die.
Well, no, they weren't terrible.
They weren't awful. No,
they were subtle as well. Like there was, I can't remember like a really strong one in it.
Also, they didn't sound Texan.
That's good.
Which is nice.
Which I know, I know if you're not from here, you might not notice that, but obviously I live here, so I would notice that. Like,
it's the same as
it can be a pretty subtle difference, but like, you know, I would.
It's like with British accents. Like a London accent is not like a Bath accent, which is not like a Yorkshire accent. But to someone who has no idea about any of it, you wouldn't be able to pick. London is very obvious, but the rest of them, you wouldn't be able to know what you're listening to.
Mm-hmm.
But when you pick a narrator, please make sure they don't have a speech impediment. It was so distracting, the whole book, and hers was subtle. Like hers was very subtle. I've heard it a lot worse, but she pronounces her S's as sh. So she's like, give me a she shells by the seashore. That's how she speaks.
I don't want to be mean, but yeah.
But like again, hers wasn't as bad. Like I texted this to you. So did you ever watch Revenge?
No.
Okay, well, in Revenge, there's 2 characters. There's Emily Thorne and Amanda Clark. Amanda Clark used to be Emily Thorne, and Emily Thorne used to be Amanda Clark. And then Emily Thorne, who used to be Amanda Clark, becomes Amanda Clark again. They swap things. the chick who plays Amanda Clark, the one that was originally Emily Thorne, she has the same speech impediment, but hers is so bad. She's like, I have a secret. I'll never spill your secret, Emily. I'm like, no.
Sorry.
Can we not shh everything? Hi, Pat.
Hey, Pat, how's it going?
At least this one, like, occasionally she would get a sound out. Occasionally she'd get it. But most of it was still a sh. And I'm like, but there's another sound that belongs there. This isn't an accent thing.
No, it's not.
Like you're from Georgia. You can do your sounds just fine.
I can.
I've heard Addie speak. I've heard Noah speak. Like, you guys can all with the best of them. It's a thing, but I do actually. What's the narrator's name?
I don't know.
That's what I meant to do before, but they noticed. I woke up half an hour ago because I slept in. So
Yeah.
my brain is not on. It takes me about 2 hours for my brain to start working, so I'm trying. But I'm going to look up this narrator to see where
I said hello to you. First of all, I did say hello.
She did.
I did.
She did.
If you didn't hear it, that's not my fault.
It doesn't say where she's from. It doesn't say. It just says she's an American voice and television actress who performed the English voices of Natasha Romanenko in the video game Metal Gear Solid. That's all it says about her.
Okay, so normally we would. So
she's an award-winning narrator. Sorry, she's won awards, and I don't know how.
Normally, because this is a new series, what we would do is go over the world building. But real quick, what I would like to do. I don't
know what it is.
Is go over the world building based on what's in the text. Okay, cool. So,
so there's a magic wave. What's a magic wave, you ask? I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea.
There's timelines with or without magic. What are those timelines? I don't know.
Did you get that from the text? I didn't.
Yeah, it was.
I have so many notes.
There was with the 300-year-old vampire. They're like, but magic hasn't been back that long. So
I could follow nothing that was. I could not follow a fucking thing in this book. Okay, the other thing we would normally do is go over characters.
There's Kate. Her blood is special, and we don't know why. And if people found out the truth about her blood, they would want to use her. So she must burn her blood with petrol whenever it is spilt. So she carries around petrol in her handbag.
Wait, what?
Oh, gasoline.
No, I know what petrol is, but I didn't catch that either.
Yeah.
That's where I read this.
What's his face? The little baby wolf that is like her buddy.
Derek.
He has to get. Yes, Derek. He has to get something out of her bag. I think it's him, and he's like, I smell petrol, or I smell gasoline, or whatever the fuck he smelled. And she's like, yeah, I know. And then she's like, I carry it in my bag at all times so I can burn my blood whenever it is spilled. And then later on, when she gets the slash across her stomach that she has to do the bindy thing on.
Yeah.
The injury that when she burnt the blood there, she poured. It is not safe to be doing that, by the way. There is a reason why people don't keep full jerry cans in their car. People
Yeah.
keep empty jerry cans in their car. They do not keep full ones because it is dangerous.
Well, okay. So there's.
Her handbag's going to explode one day. But by the way, it's going to explode one day.
I also don't know what Kate is. Is she just a person?
She's human. She's human. She's got blood in her.
Okay.
She's got magic in her blood. I don't know if that's from the text or from what I read online, though. I'm sorry. I don't know.
But
did you read the
okay,
spoiler
fine.
about what makes her so special?
No, well, no, because I wouldn't get it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So then there's Curran.
I think it's spelled Curran. Curran.
He is the Beast Lord Master Marok, whatever.
King of all the shape changers.
Shape changers. He's a kitty cat.
He's a big kitty cat.
He's a large kitty cat.
He's a North American lion.
He's a large, sexy kitty cat.
Except when he's in human form. I will say, props. For once we have a not 6 foot plus love interest.
Adam's 5'10".
Oh, I didn't realize about Adam either. Okay, well, both Adam and this guy are 5'10". I don't think his height is specifically stated in this book, but he's only a couple of inches taller than Kate.
Who else? I don't know anybody else's name. There's Simon. Simon. What's with all these weird fucking names? By the way, that's my question.
I don't remember him.
Simon was the guy that like shifted himself from like a hot blonde to like a hot guy to like a normal guy. Huh?
Wasn't that Jim?
No, Jim was like another Wolfie, not Wolfie, something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Wait, let me find I'm pretty sure masculine was used in that scene. Yes, masculine.
I don't know who any of these people are. I don't even know if they matter.
Yeah, Saiman. Simon. It was Simon. He is effectively Tonks from Harry Potter. He is a metamorphi, or can metamorphosis. I don't know if that's actually a thing, its own thing, or if he just has enough magic in him to just change.
All right, I can't hold it in anymore. So I'm going to start with the kind of fantasy that this is. I have a speech. I have a speech about urban fantasy.
Okay, read your speech.
Okay, urban fantasy comes in a few different flavors. Okay. You have like really not like, and when I mean simple, I mean the magic system. Okay. So very simple urban fantasy where maybe the only like supernatural thing that's going on is like you have a character that can read minds, and maybe that's the only thing that makes it fantasy, right? Or maybe it's the only subset of things is like the undead. So maybe we'll just have vampires, like ghouls and ghosts, and that's our only like subset of things. And then there's like, the kitchen sink kind of fantasy, where it's everything in the kitchen sink. That's why it's called that. So you have all the things, where you'll have fae, vampires, werewolves, like all the stuff. We're just throwing everything at the wall. It's very fun. Some people don't like particular types of fantasy, and that's fine. But something that is particularly important and this is writing advice from Book Club with Bay. Something that is so important with kitchen sink fantasy is that you organize your fucking buckets and you make it clear what is what. And, because it's hard for people to remember what the fuck and whom's the fuck. I'm going to use Mercy as an example, because of course I am. But something that Mercy Thompson does really well is that Mercy, if you think of her as like the center of a wheel, and you got spokes on the wheel or whatever. The way that we can think of how she knows all the other characters, and the way that we can categorize all the other types of fantasy critters is from Mercy. We have Z. Z is a fae. That's how we connect to the fae. She's friends with Stefan. Stefan's a vampire. That's how we know the vampires. She's neighbors with, in the first book, she's neighbors with Adam. That's how we know the werewolves.
Well, the local ones.
The local ones. And now we've covered all our bases.
Yeah.
So we have very tangible connections to all of the factions. We have a face to the faction, and we're fucking Gucci gang.
Well,
and I know what the factions are. I know what the rules are. I'm good to go.
Yeah. Because you know what else Mercy does really well, and guess what? We're going to be doing probably a fair amount of Mercy comparison. I know we normally do that anyway, but all the reviews for this book are, if you love Mercy Thompson, you'll love this. And then because what inspired us to read this series, I believe from memory, was we were going through the 1-star Mooncold reviews.
Yep.
And they're like, I came from Kate Daniels, and I was promised another, like, if I love Kate Daniels, I'll love this. And what is this? And I'm just like, how absolutely dare you? But let's give this a try. Well, you were like, let's give this a try. I think we were both like, how absolutely dare you?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
And even more so after reading this book now. Mercy, she like, Patty will be like, this is a fae. Fae are to be trusted. Like, they can't lie, but they are very good at deceiving with the truth. And like, you get a little brief overview of them. It's just like, fae is this. Pax, there's the alpha, and then there's the big alpha, which is the Moroccan. This is the basic structure of that. And then it's like vampires, this is the basic structure of them. In this one, she's like, I'm going to go meet the people. Who are the people? I don't fucking know. I still don't know. I have an idea. I have a little bit of an idea because I ended up like looking up to try and understand what the fuck I was reading. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah, go for it. Because I still don't know. I don't know how anything works.
It's effectively like the human mafia type thing, but like legit corporate business structure. And they're humans.
What?
And they use vampires because you can pilot a vampire. I don't know. So the pack, which is like all of the shape changes that fall under Curran, which like a were-rat, a fucking were-rat. Are you kidding me? A were-rat.
I don't know. Anyway. I'm so confused.
A were-hyena. This, if we ever actually, like, I think we briefly meet one, but
we meet one.
That's fine.
Another before I forget.
If we have to spend time with a fucking hyena, I'm gonna have nightmares. Hyenas are creepy.
And before I forget, I was driving home for like an hour today, and we got to a part where we were just meeting like 4 new characters, and I think I like said out loud just in my car, I was like, no, because I was already so confused. And I was like, don't throw more people at me. I was like, I can't take more people because they have no idea what's going on. Because, again,
Mercy has a large cost.
It does. Even in the first book, it has a lot of people. But because of the way that Patty does it, you just have such an easy way to track it back. Like, you have like a map in your head of how the people connect, and it's like so clear how they connect. And this, I was just like, I don't know who the fuck anybody is, or how they know each other, or what they even are. What is this? What are you? Mercy on page 2 tells me what she is. She's like, oh, I'm not aware anything. I've listened to Mooncold a million times. She's like, I'm not aware anything. The coyotes are my brothers, is what she says. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
But she tells me, she's like, this is what I can do.
And the rules don't like, and we don't know. Like, we get a very basic kind of sometimes relevant, sometimes not relevant rules of shape changing. We're like, okay, so you got your human, you got your beast, and then you got your man beast. And apparently, like, you can do like a half shift. And so, like, you're like, it's still like humanoid in shape, but with like your animal's features. But like when you do a shifty shift from what I don't know how long it takes either. Apparently most people,
Or does it
when they
hurt?
shift from
Like,
beast, I don't know, but when they shift from beast to human, apparently like they pass out for an hour, and I'm like, well, that doesn't sound very helpful.
yeah, but what?
but that doesn't happen to Karen, because Karen like shifts to human and immediately starts talking, and that's where we get that little snippet, because she's like, that can't be him talking. He should be passed out right now. Now I know why he's the king of the beast, because he can talk after he shifts. And yeah, that's what that was. But I don't know any of the other rules. And again, how big are these rats? How big are they? How big are they, babe? Are they? Because they're all bigger than their. Because all the animals are bigger than their natural counterparts, right?
But how much bigger?
We said that. Well,
we know that the wolves are. We know that the wolves are like mercy-sized wolves. Okay, because we're given a weight.
Right.
But
so
what about
I
the
imagine
rats?
the same. Yeah, like I imagine.
Are the rats double the rat size? Because gross.
Or are they
what
wolf
species
size
of rat?
Because probably just ratus. I imagine it would just be ratus.
You gotta tell me what's going on. Okay, here's my rant about this.
Is there a werequokka? And the question I have is, would a quokka be terrifying? Would a quokka be terrifying if it was bigger?
I don't know.
Because they're happy, but would it look like a sociopath?
Here's my coherent rant about this, because I wrote it down. I was like, I have to write it down or else I will go on forever. And it has to, like, I got it. So I'm sorry. It's too much.
This was supposed to be Good Book Week.
I know. I'm sorry. The world promised. We were like, instead my head just exploded. So I said the author heard show don't tell and decided that not coherently describing how this world works was a good idea. I am 30% way through the book. I still don't get it. Sometimes telling is necessary. Kate is not an ooh-ah character. So what I mean by that is that an ooh-ah character is like Harry Potter. Harry Potter doesn't know anything. He doesn't know shit about dick. So when we're following him through the world, he goes, ooh, ah. Yeah, he goes, ooh, ah. And they go, yeah. And here's how it works. And you go, ooh, ah, right? He's an ooh, ah character.
Yeah. And in most urban fantasy ones, like I said this to you yesterday as well, like for example, with Bella and Twilight, the reader actually has one up on Bella for half the book. Because we know that it's about vampires.
Right.
We know that the Cullens are vampires.
You're just waiting on Bella to get with the fucking program.
Yeah, so it makes it easier to learn all the other new stuff because you're already one step ahead of the book from the get-go.
Right. And the other thing is that these ooh-ah characters are usually going to be in coming-of-age stories, so middle grade and YA, or they're going to be romance novel characters so that the hunky bad boy can explain to the dumb bitch stupid pants what's going on so that she'll fuck him. So that's where you're going to find these ooh-ah characters. That's not to say that, like, you know, characters of adult series won't ever go ooh-ah. Shut up, Siri. Won't ever not know things. They will not know things, but they will know the basics, right? Because they will already have an identity. They will be adults with personalities and identities. So anyway, so Kate knows the things already. She has to tell us the rules because we cannot learn them with her because she knows them. And that's fine. but you do have to tell us, you know? Show don't tell is kind of niche advice, and following it all the time can lead to inefficient storytelling. Most of the time, when it comes to world building and laying out these rules, especially in a fantasy series, it can work a lot better to tell us the basics and
then show us the
tell
rest.
us what them know, and then show the actual nuances of it, right? So the pack has an alpha. That's kind of how it works. And then we see it and we're like, all right, got it. 3 feet to ride the ride. Keep your arms and legs inside at all times. All right, cool. And then you see somebody break the rules and their arm gets chopped off. Okay, I got it. I get it.
And then, like in using the Mercyverse, because we're gonna go Mercyverse here, we get Adam. We see how he alphas. We briefly see Bran. We hear more about how he alphas, but we see more of that as we go into Alpha and Omega. But then there's also what's his face with the crazy bitch wife,
Leo.
We see how he alphas. So like within like the chronology of Mercy and Alpha and Omega, in the first 2 books and novella, so 3 books, we get 3 wildly different examples of alphas.
Yeah.
But the basic rules are the same.
Yeah.
So she shows us the nuances of what an alpha is 3 times.
But we need to know what the basics are. Because when it comes to fantasy, your rules for werewolves are going to be different than the rules I might write for a werewolf. So I need to tell you what my rules might be. So that just because, especially if I don't have an ooh-ah character, just because it's just easier that way. And I know, Shadow and Tell, that's fine. But like, wouldn't it just be better if we just went to dinner first, when then it's just easier.
When you have a book where the main character is already aware, you don't have the luxury of ignoring Tell. You have to tell.
Sometimes, honey,
exposition is important.
Sometimes, sweetie, it's just easier to tell me what the fuck is going on.
Okay. But even also, but Twilight, right? Again, let's go to Twilight.
Yeah.
Ooh, our character. We get to see everything, right?
Yeah.
Except we still get exposition at the beginning of the book. I just moved to Forks, which is right near Seattle, Washington from Arizona. I miss the sun.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's a flake. She just got married. I barely know my dad. I only see him occasionally. Rah, 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 rah. We at least get something.
We're taking to dinner first.
Yeah. She's just like, look, this is like a really brief Cliff Notes of my life up until this point, and now we're here. Let's carry forward. It's like, well, thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate you getting Bella to tell us a little bit about herself.
If I can just say one thing about the first Twilight book, the technical writing is not bad. I will die on that hill. I'm not saying the story's good, but I'm saying
Twilight is trash, but it's enjoyable trash. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I might criticize Twilight for being trash, but I used to love Twilight. But I don't think I've ever read Twilight and stepped away angry, or annoyed, or frustrated.
The actual the writing, Stephanie's writing style is not bad. There's nothing really wrong with it. Like,
I can see why it became such a hit.
Yeah.
Because also it was one of the first major vampire books of its kind where vampires weren't like Dracula or like Buffy vampires, where they weren't monsters. And there were the rare vampire in Buffy that wasn't like, a horrific monster, but it wasn't by choice most of the time. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was the first big hit where vampires were just people who drank blood, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
and that opens up a whole new world, doesn't it? So that's why Twilight was such a big hit.
One thing I want to talk. So I'm from Atlanta, so we're going to talk about this. I just want to talk about it. I want to talk about the settings. I have to talk about this. This drove me up a fucking wall.
Okay, but I know what one of your criticisms is going to be, and I'm going to argue back to you on that one. So I'm going to wait.
What?
There's just talk about the Atlanta setting, and then I will tell you when you get there.
So, okay. So to me, the setting descriptions are really jarring. Downtown is just described as downtown. At first, it's just described as downtown. But later we're told there are no more tall buildings. So, but not super duper why there are no more tall buildings. Just briefly, can you info dump me in chapter 1? Can you just paragraph me?
Okay. Now, regarding downtown, I thought you were going to have a bit more criticism about downtown because your text was a lot more cranky about downtown. If downtown has become a wasteland, which it sounds like it has, it's probably not a bad thing. And I'll tell you why. Do you recall last week? 2 people got shot over too much mayo on a Subway sandwich. And where did that occur? Downtown Atlanta.
Yeah, I know.
Downtown needs to be wiped off the face of the fucking map. That's what needs to happen, okay? We don't shoot people over mayo.
I'll also put $5 on the authors never having been to Atlanta. I'm not somebody that loves overly long descriptions, but we never get settled into the atmosphere of any setting whatsoever.
This could have easily been done in just Dallas.
Like nothing. I can tell that Patty went to Prague, for example, in Silence Fallen, and I know this happened because at some point I emailed her assistant about something for my capstone, and she emailed me back. She was very nice. And it's enough description to like be immersive. Patty doesn't give overly long like setting descriptions, but it's enough to know that like
she describes the feel of the cobblestone and the different vibe of the place and the atmosphere. Like honestly, atmosphere is the biggest thing. And even though that this is a freaking I can't even just it's kind of like a wasteland, kind of not. Like sometimes tech works, sometimes it doesn't. Who knows why? And then depending on people's particular thoughts about cell phones when a magic wave hits, sometimes cell phones work during magic waves and sometimes they don't.
There are another few things like travel times. Like, what is the population of Atlanta right now?
Well, considering 4 people wouldn't sustain a vampire nest for even half or one vampire or something for a day, I would say pretty low. But I don't know.
Because, like, the travel time... well, I don't know what the travel time is. She doesn't fucking tell me. But what's the travel time?
Well, she can't tell you travel time. And I'll tell you why. Because then there would have to be clear scene changes. Like, at the end, right? You know how when she's, like, in her house after, like, Big Bad is like, I'm gonna get you. And she's, like, stabs him in the neck with the glass. And then, like, he eats. And she's like, I'm stuck in my house. And then she calls Curran. And then Curran comes. I think he comes. Or does she go to him? I don't know. Because suddenly we're at the pack headquarters. And I don't know how we got there. I didn't realize we had left her house until...
Where is her house, by the way?
I don't know. But, she's at Greg's apartment, sorry.
Okay, but where is her house?
30 minutes outside Savannah.
Oh.
She goes to Atlanta after Greg dies. Wait. How do you spell Savannah?
SAVANNA.
ANNA. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Because at the beginning when she's talking about Carmelian, because she's like, the magic had hit while I was packing the essentials in my bag and I had to take Carmelian instead of my regular car. Lucky for me, on a regular day, Carmelian had to only travel 30 miles to Savannah. Today I forced it into the ley line, which in itself wasn't bad for it since the ley line dragged it almost all the way to Atlanta. So she lives 30 miles outside of Savannah.
That's like, this is where I got confused, by the way, because I had no idea what any of that shit meant. That whole paragraph, I was like, what?
Yeah. You know what though?
Like,
I'm not gonna lie though. There is one sentence that I just saw that I didn't notice before because I myself was also confused about what the fuck is a chameleon. And I'm saying it now. I hated Atlanta. I hated cities, period. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess she's my spirit animal.
Well, okay, it's very obvious that like this character hates Atlanta because like you can just tell. And I think the authors hate Atlanta too or something. I don't fucking know. Because the way that certain things are written, it's like, holy shit. And by the way, reading a character that hates like the setting that they're in is really fucking unpleasant for a whole book. It's fucking annoying.
It's half of what Bella, like the criticism towards Bella is. Because the whole time she's just like, I hate folks, I hate the rain. It's just like, shut the fuck up and go home then. But no one wanted to go home because they wanted to find out that Edward's a vampire so then they can do a thing. But the first half of that book is she's just bitching about the rain.
Like, it's so annoying. But also I think it's the authors that really hated it because there's some shit in here that like I was like, excuse the fuck out of you. And I guess we'll get to it, but
it doesn't make sense for them. But it doesn't make sense for them to hate it so much. Like, he's Southern.
Well, if he's from Texas. If he's from Texas, he might not think of himself as Southern.
But he's like great-grandfather or great-grand... I don't know how... A pretty recent in the greats grandfather was a Louisiana general that started the fucking Civil War from Louisiana. So he might be Southern, he might be Texan. He might be both. Like one side might be Texan, the other one might be...
I'm sorry, Pat. Texan's not the same thing. Which might be why he's an ignorant little shit.
I don't know. Like, they might have moved to Texas.
I'm sorry. It's just there's some stuff that really got me. Okay, I'm really sorry.
I will say, though, like, especially East Texas is like... There's a lot of crossover between Texan and Southern in a lot of things. For example, barbecue. The South and Texas love barbecue. Their approaches to barbecue are different.
Sure.
Texas is more of a dry rub, whereas like South is more of a sauce rub.
Okay, but what this though?
But barbecue.
I'll get to it. I'm sorry. This book really ground my gears. We'll get to it. I'm really sorry. There were just some things. Okay, you know what? I have to. Okay, so they go to a Mexican restaurant. I have to. And they have this bimbo redhead waitress, which like, so they're clearly on the border. They're clearly on the border, obviously.
Yeah,
because
they met at Western Carolina University as well. So like their entire relationship has been in the South or in Texas. They shouldn't have.
I don't believe they've ever.
Is there an South sentiment in Texas? I don't think so. I feel like Texas and the South are like allies because at least they're not Yankees.
So they're in this Mexican restaurant being served by a bimbo-y redhead. So they're clearly on the border because if we're at a good Mexican restaurant, it's not owned by white people. Everybody knows that at a good Mexican restaurant, you better be able to speak a little bit of Spanish. Okay? Fuck off. Secondly...
do you want to know what the rules are here? The good Mexican restaurants? Although, I need to tell you about one that I just found out about. But the ones that are like as close to like not Old El Paso as possible, like that are like as close to Mexico and not Old El Paso, it's all Indian. Everyone that works there is Indian.
That's interesting.
It's good food though. It's good food.
Yeah.
But guess what, babe? I don't think I told you this, but I found out because we got a coupon book in the mail. There is a place near here that it's like a Mexican restaurant plus play center plus they do kids parties plus they have Mexican wrestling. And then once every 6 months or so, they have like Mexican midget wrestling.
Okay, then.
And I did not know that this existed. And apparently it's been there for like 2
That's
years.
a lot.
And I'm like, I was like, we have to go and see the Mexican wrestling. And he's like, but why? It's just wrestling. I'm like, no, it's different. And I think it'll be funner. So we might be doing that at some point.
But there's also different types of Mexican food. Okay, so by the way, just because I'm going to be really nitpicky because it's really annoyed the shit out of me. There's different types of Mexican food. So if you're in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California, you're going to get like the more authentic Mexican food that you would actually find in Mexico. And then you're going to find like Tex-Mex in other parts of the country, although it's becoming more popular to find like authentic Mexican food elsewhere. But also in Florida and Georgia, you're going to find a lot of Cuban restaurants. So shut the fuck up. But anyway, there was a guy that was like, does this come with gravy? And fucking Kate's like, only in the South. No, that's never happened.
Has anyone in the South ever asked for gravy with their Mexican?
No, they haven't, because that would be fucking dumb.
I mean, they would ask for gravy with almost anything else, but not with Mexican.
No, that's never happened. I'm sure, you know what, Pat, you know what, Pat, I claim you back in the South again. Pat can attest to that. That's never happened. I'm sorry, Pat. I shouldn't have snapped at you.
I'm not gonna lie.
I apologize. I was just really grumpy.
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't triggered by that, but I also didn't take much note of it because, like,
I was so triggered. I was so triggered.
And I will say as well, from everything I've seen about American gravy, your gravy's not like our gravy. So I just like whenever I just hear gravy stuff like it, I don't get it. So I'm just like you have scones. You might call them biscuits, but they're scones. You have scones in like this weird white mush called gravy, and I don't know what the fuck it is, and I don't think I ever want to try it.
Well, people in the South really like their gravy. Okay, and also though,
the gravy that I know of is delicious.
People in the South also really like Mexican food. And
you know what sounds disgusting? You know what sounds disgusting?
That like mixed together.
Mexican food with any sort of gravy that I can picture. It sounds disgusting. I don't even think a pregnant would want it.
Yeah, maybe a pregnant woman might think of it. Maybe.
I don't think.
Honestly,
I'm going to tell you a secret. The trope of pregnant women wanting like pickles and ice cream or whatever, it's not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. Food does taste different. Or you might like get turned off of certain foods that you like, or like certain foods that you never used to like because it's weird. But I don't think I've known anyone that has wanted a weird concoction of vomit-inducing flavors.
Another thing I noticed is that they go, okay, and I understand that like things have happened, okay, but they do mention county governments still existing and stuff like that. So, and they've given me no other world building to go on. So I don't care. They go
like I mentioned yesterday. I'm like, is the USA still a country?
I don't know. But you know what? They haven't told me it's not. So I'm going to go with yes. I'm going to go with all the laws are the same. You can't gamble in Georgia, bitch. I'm sorry. I'm like upset that there's no world building. So like if you're not saying that they've changed the law, then I don't care. You can't gamble in Georgia.
I still remember your face when we went to the pub and you saw the pokey room. And then we went to the next pub and you saw the pokey room. And then we went to the next pub and you saw the pokey room.
I'm sorry. So Georgia is one of the least gambling friendly states in the union. You can't play bingo for money in Georgia. Like Georgia's really, really strict about gambling. We also you can't sports bet or anything here. No poker for money, nothing like that, let alone like a fucking casino or like slot machines. You you can't gamble in Georgia. And I was at the point where like slot machines in Georgia, I was like, no. How dare you?
I also do want to say something as well. I feel like the entire system around gambling or lotteries, etc., in the US is a sham, and I'll tell you why. You should not have to pay tax on a fucking gambling win. It's weird to me that like someone will win like millions in the lottery and then have to pay half of it to tax. And it's weird because you're like, oh yeah, I won a $320 million jackpot. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You think you did, but you didn't because you lose half of that.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
by the way, you can tell.
It doesn't matter how much you win here. You get to.
I will note this though. You can tell how much I'm enjoying a book by how much I care about the fact that gambling is illegal in Georgia in real life.
And we'd love to discuss plot with you, but I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either. So we'll get to something like that, but I just want to run through my list of grievances.
Yes, run through your list of grievances.
So the Fox is made of bricks. The Fox Theater was made of bricks, not stones. I looked it up.
I don't even know what that is, but okay.
So he mentions. Sorry, I'm sorry. I got really nitpicky about it because it was.
That's okay. If this was set in Sydney, I would probably do the same. It's fine.
But again, though, here's what I'll say.
Or if I knew anything about Atlanta, then
does any of this really matter? No. But if I had been enjoying myself,
that said, though, it shows. But it also, I kind of think it does matter though, because it shows the level of care they gave. Because a theater being made out of brick or stone is a Googleable thing.
Yeah. So if I just pull up
if you're going to reference a real life location, be accurate.
There were a lot of places. So this was the thing that bothered me about like not mention like when they mentioned travel times and stuff, they're like flitting around from Midtown to Buckhead to stuff like that in like a single evening. And I'm like, bitch, have you ever tried to like get from one end of Atlanta to the other? It's like a fucking nightmare.
And
it's misery.
Off of it.
It's
you do
not,
need to keep in mind there's not going to be really any cars on the road because it's a magic wave and cars aren't working unless it's car like Carmelian.
Right, but it's not an insignificant.
I don't know how much that would affect it.
It's not an insignificant distance. So,
wait, so what are the two locations? Because I just want to get a visual thing for myself to understand.
So it would be like downtown to Midtown to Buckhead. At one point, they mentioned Swanee.
Buckhead, Georgia. Okay.
So this is the Fox Theater.
Oh, look at the background.
Maybe they don't know what bricks are anymore, but those aren't stones.
No, those are brick.
Those are bricks.
From a distance, like if like a further distance than that, like it would be easy to confuse it.
I mean, I've waited outside that theater, like in line, and gotten my dress caught on those bricks, so I can attest they're bricks.
Okay, so Midtown to Buckhead is fine because it's like, like Midtown is right below Buckhead, but downtown is not.
And then Swanee?
Where's Swanee? Which direction am I going?
To Midtown, Swanee.
Oh, I see it.
35-minute drive. Sorry. Yeah, it's a 35-minute drive. It's 30 miles away. Yeah, Tex-Mex is really good. I really like cheese. I want to be like, I like authentic Mexican food, but I just love cheese.
Honestly, I don't mind. Like, there's some people that get offended at the concept of Tex-Mex because it's like, it's not authentic. It's just like, yeah, but it's delicious. Authentic is delicious. Tex-Mex is delicious. Why not have both? It's fine.
I'm also just a wuss, and I'm afraid of foods I'm not super familiar with.
Like I was an adult before I ever knew that Mexican like had rice in it.
Well, I guess that
'Cause-
makes see it always like I always forget that like this sounds dumb, but that you guys wouldn't have a lot of Mexican food because we
No, we
have so much
don't.
of it. Because
Well,
obviously
we're getting a hell of a
Mexico
lot more
is
of it now, but it's
because
all
Mexico's
changed.
right there for us, so that you know obviously we have
Yeah.
it.
There is um. We drove past a Mexican restaurant recently, and I'm gonna put it. Could you just confirm what that would translate to? Is it what I believe it would translate to?
Yes. Yeah, crazy white people. The crazy white people. Yes, that's what that means.
Part of me wants to just like go back there and eat, like just to go in. The place looks so tacky on the outside as well. It looks so bad. But there's a good chance that means it's delicious.
I mean,
Right?
yeah. Yeah. We have a Mexican restaurant next to like near our apartment. It is so good. It's so good. We haven't been to another Mexican restaurant since like we moved in and we found it. It's so good. It's amazing.
Oh,
They also
that
have really
looks
good
like a pretty
margaritas.
drink.
Their margaritas taste like popsicles.
I'm gonna copy link address. Hopefully that brings up the picture I'm wanting to show you. Let's see.
Okay,
Open
my
up.
other grievance. Let me just run through this real quick. Do I have anything else? Yes, I do. So in this book, this happens a lot. So normally our complaint is like, why are we having this conversation? Shouldn't you just skip over this dialogue? In this book, I was like, why are you skipping over this conversation? Let me hear what you're saying. The amount of dialogue that just gets summarized.
Yeah, it's
You know why I can't remember any of these characters? Because you won't let me talk to any of them. Do you know why I don't know what Kate's personality is? Because you won't let me talk. You won't let me see her talk to anybody. The fuck?
I have a genuine question though.
Yeah.
We're just going back to what we were just previously talking about. Is it typical is it typical Mexican to have pansies in a margarita?
I don't know.
Or
No.
daiquiri or whatever it is.
But,
Is that margarita? Yes, it is a margarita. Is it typical?
Not where I live.
Because that link I sent you has pansies. And then lower down, it looks like there's fairy floss in one. Or cotton candy, whatever. It looks like pink fluffy hair. And I'm hoping it's just it's fairy floss.
And not fluffy hair.
Yeah. You know what? Now I really want to go there because these cocktails look delicious.
They do. Can
They
I
look
come
delicious.
with you?
Yeah, jump on a plane. We'll go there this weekend.
Okay.
Oh no! Babe, scroll down. There is like what's the drink thing that has like the tap on it? But it's got like a fishbowl on top with the drink in it, and there's like dry ice in it or something, and it's smoking. It's a cauldrony drink.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh, you know what? Who needs authenticity when you have like this? This looks magical, and the name fits. The name fits. It's fine.
This does look pretty magical. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh.
This
This location is cursed as well. Restaurants really only last there like 5 years max. So like, I need to go there. It used to be a delicious German restaurant, but every time we went there, there was only like one other table. So yeah, I gotta go there. Look at this.
Anyway,
Okay.
but
I'll talk to my
yeah,
husband about that.
so there was a lot of like skipped dialogue,
Yes.
and it was weird. Like
There was
important,
a lot of
what I
skipped
thought
everything.
were important conversations, and she just summarized them, and I was like, why are
We haven't
skipping
had
things?
like you writing advice from book club with Bear. If a character is recapping what just happened or a conversation they just had to someone else, that's fine. Summarize away. Or if they're explaining all the events prior to the book. So just say, like, for example, like when Mercy rocks up to the Marox pack in Mooncold. And she tells Bran what has happened the whole book, like how she was met a little lost Wolfie, and they became friends and did a thing, and then an attack happened, he was dead, Adam's broken, etc., etc. Mercy's allowed to go, like Patty's allowed to say, Mercy explained. Go.
I have an asterisk to that. The
Yeah.
only asterisk is unless the character's reaction to the explanation is really important.
But then you pause on that point in the conversation, or you have them react at the end of the retelling, and then you pick up the conversation from there.
Yeah,
but you don't.
Or
You don't do House of Night.
Or the other thing could be if it's much, much later in the book, it could be worth cliff noting it or something like that. But yeah. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just like,
yeah, like if it's later in the book or whatever, it's like I explained how after Mac rocked up on my doorstep, Adam was going to take him in, but then an attack happened.
Yeah,
And cliff note it like that. You don't do a House of Night where it's like, we just saw it happen, and then we get to sit and watch. So we tell everyone what just happened, and everyone's response just being, oh gosh, or Jack crying. Okay, those are always the response. Everyone says, oh gosh, and then Jack cries. It's a thing,
right?
But if we don't know what just happened or what they're talking about, you need to let us eavesdrop on the conversation. That's why we have dialogue. That's the purpose of dialogue. To convey information to us. But no. So we're skipping over shit that shouldn't be skipped. There's no exposition whatsoever.
And the exposition that there is unhelpful.
And I need to stress again, because at least in the Immortal series with like Eva and everything, the scene changes there weren't clear either. But you would work out pretty clearly and you got used to it. By the end of book 1, you were kind of just going with the flow of it, and you kind of knew where you were at any given point in the book.
Yeah.
Again, this one, we went through like 2 chapters of her being at like pack headquarters or something, when I thought she was still at home.
Yeah, no, because there's one point where she's like, I'm going the fuck home. And I'm like, okay. And then 2 seconds later, she's with 5 characters that don't live, because she's at home miles away in Savannah, and they're all in Atlanta, or are they? I don't know where we are.
Well, I think when she refers to going home or whatever, it's always Greg's apartment, her home.
No, she said she was going to her house. She's like, I'm going to my real home. And she goes to her house. This is like in chapter 8. She's like, I'm going to my real house. I'm a real boy. And I'm like, okay. And then suddenly we're not there anymore.
And it's also hard to gauge how far away she lives from Atlanta, because like also, she said, okay, like we get the hint.
What's a Southern Baptist separatist?
I am as I assume, all I can
separating from what?
I'm guessing society, because at least like current, but listen. I think because current Southern Baptists, like they're pretty isolated from society anyway. Sure.
No, they're not.
Oh, no. In terms of like how they socialize with, like in a friendly manner. Like they don't have non-Southern Baptist friends.
Okay.
They're the ones that do the crazy, like, kill everyone's going to hell shit, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's Westboro Baptist. Never mind then. Maybe a Southern Baptist separatist is a Westboro Baptist equivalent.
They're in Kansas.
I said equivalent.
Okay.
Because it sounds like they were like religious nuts. That's where I got Westboro Baptist in my head. Because like,
okay. No, well, here's
describing his parents that they went like religiously nutty. So I'm guessing that they separated. They wanted to go more hardcore like Westboro Baptist, so they separated from the Southern Baptist to become a Westboro Baptist, but Southern Baptist separatist in name, but Westboro in spirit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
That is the only assumption I can make.
But here's it's not said.
I know it's not said.
But I know. That's not your fault. But here's my writing advice from Book Club with Bae. Before you give me a separatist, I need you to give me a thing for them to be separatisting from. Okay, I need to know like what they can.
I'm good.
I'm gonna use Star Wars as an example this time.
I got it.
Before you tell me, I'm gonna use Star Wars as an example. Okay. I'm gonna use the Clone Wars.
Separate Baptist. Separate Baptist is a thing. The separate Baptist. Sorry, you go do your thing first.
All right,
and then
fine. I'm gonna use the Clone Wars as an example.
Okay, Clone Wars me.
In the Clone Wars, you have the Republic and you have the Separatists who want to yeet themselves from the Republic. That makes sense. I'm here for that. I don't know what's going on. What's the state of the government? Why aren't we told what the state of the government is? The skyscrapers are falling apart. Tell me to calm down.
Like, I know why the skyscrapers are falling apart, but that's because I Googled it. And
also,
by the way,
what is the reaction to the skyscrapers falling down? Why is nobody reacting to this? Do people not go into the skyscraper? I guess they wouldn't. Why would you? But
like you should.
Why not short buildings?
Google the world building.
Why only tall buildings?
Why do you want me to tell you why? It's not in the book. But I'll tell you why.
Please.
Because the taller the building, the more inherently techy the building is, and when a magic wave hits, the tech crumbles, and then the buildings fell down.
God, I hate sci-fi. You know what? Here's the thing about me. I hate sci-fi. I don't like sci-fi.
Or some sci-fi. I like some sci-fi. You like Star Wars? Fuck off.
I do like Star Wars. All right. I don't. Sometimes I hate sci-fi. Right now, I hate sci-fi with a passion. I'm sorry. This made me so grumpy. I'm sorry, Pat. I still feel really bad. I feel really awful. I'm going to feel guilty about this for like 2 months.
Okay, let's talk about separate Baptists now, okay? They were an 18th century group of Baptists in the United States, primarily in the South, that grew out of the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening was a religious revival, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, they just gave me PTSD from like third
grade. The descendants of the separate Baptists, because like separate Baptists aren't a thing anymore. But the descendants of the separate Baptists are the Separate Baptists in Christ, Landmark Missionary Baptists, Primitive Baptists, Southern Baptists, United Baptists, and the General Association of Baptists. So maybe they just literally meant Southern Baptist. Maybe a Southern Baptist separatist is just as Southern Baptist. I don't know.
I'm going to look at...
Maybe we'll Google, not Google. Maybe we'll find out more in future books. I don't know.
Just if you're gonna talk about
it, these are separate Baptists, not separatist Baptists.
I swear it came
about us.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm looking it up in the book because I can't. It's gonna bother me, and I need to know. So Baptist. I can spell it right. I need to know. Do you explain it? Am I just? Derek's parents were Southern
Maybe-
Baptist separatists. So it's Southern Baptist. Southern Baptist is capitalized, and then separatist is not capitalized.
Maybe they want to separate, like maybe like pro what's the word? Pro Confederacy or something still. Like, you know, like there's still those that are like, we want the South to do a thing.
The shift to deep religion wasn't unusual. Half the mountain towns had gone deep before the Live Life with God movement gave
So they want to
them new
separate from
dogma.
society. They want to separate from society.
Okay. Why didn't you just fucking say that? I hate this book.
And I feel,
Are these
and
books
again, I
supposed
feel
to
like
get
I
better?
missed, I don't know, but I feel like again though, I feel like I missed a bunch of stuff as well again because was so distracted by the narrator's inability to pronounce an S sound.
Should we talk
Like
about
it sounds nitpicky, but it's so distracting. What plot? Her mentor dies. She goes. A bunch of stuff happens. I don't know. And then there's an OP who wants to make babies with her, and they kill him.
Also,
Oh, and the leader of the people is a man named Roland, who is like the oldest magical being on the planet, who they think is around 4,000 years old.
yeah.
And no one knows about that, except for the higher ups and the people and Kate.
Yeah, that's the plot.
That's the plot. Like there's a cute little. Oh, it's weird as well, right? Because she goes to have a meeting with Curran after their first meeting, and he formally invites her, so she goes there, and there's a bunch of werewolves there, and then they're like, and I guess a good way to just see how she reacts to shit and whether or not she'd be a good ally is to literally get a bunch of werewolves to try and rape her and see what happens.
I think he's the main love interest too. By the way, he's a weird love interest.
Curran is the love interest.
Can we talk about that? How he's a fucking weird love interest?
Yeah, well, for starters, he's an African lion on the cover, like you said.
Are you feeling sparks? Because I'm not feeling sparks.
I'm not feeling sparks.
I'm like, I don't know about all that. For me, it's like a bit of a no-go.
Yeah,
I saw one review that was like, I cannot get past all the shit he does in this book, and I can see why.
Okay, because he gets his wolves to try and do a rape-a-doodle.
I would also not fuck him after all of that.
I mean, okay, let's
what the fuck?
Let's just remove the hyperbole for a second. Like, no one like jumps on her and tries to rape her. It's fine in that regard. But like, she walks in and Derek, bless him. Like, I actually do like it. Derek, he's sweet, except for when we first met him. But he was under orders, and shapeshifters, there's rules and stuff. Like, I can forgive Derek for his role in this. Okay, it's not his fault. He goes up and he's like, "Hey, good looking," and she's like, "Go away." And he's like, "No, we're gonna have a good time." And then he touches her, and then like other guys are coming in, they're like, "Yeah, we're all gonna have a good time." And she's like, "Well, I can't attack them, otherwise they're gonna kill me."
Oh,
but I know that this is a test.
Sorry, roll click.
But that's the test, though. Sorry,
I can confirm. Sorry, this is complete. Sorry, because of bullshit with the FDA, I don't have my Adderall right now, so I'm a lot worse. I apologize. I I can confirm in Moon Called, Adam does confirm that Ben did not actually rape anybody. Anyway.
Yeah. I thought it was that one, but Mercy didn't believe in that's right.
He says it implicitly in the first couple chapters. He says it explicitly at the end.
Yeah, but Mercy still doesn't believe him for like 3 books.
Yeah, but anyway,
she finds out that Ben was diddled.
To all the 1-star reviews, it's explicitly said and implicitly said a couple of times. Okay, moving on.
Yeah,
sorry. Justice for Ben. Ben's like my favorite character. Ben. I love him.
Honestly, there should be a Ben's. Actually, I don't. Look, I say I want a Ben spinoff, but I don't think I do. One, I don't want to be in his head because I think that would ruin him for me. But
Ben's a good side character, though.
Benny's best. He's not best in as small doses as we've gotten him in some more recent books, although he was pretty prominent in the Rumpelstiltskin one.
Yeah.
Smoke Bitten. But for a few books prior, like he was barely in them, and I was not okay with that. I'm okay with him in like his average page time.
Yeah.
I would even be okay with a slight increase to his average page time. But I don't think I want him to be a prominent, like an MC. I think that would ruin him. Yeah, especially because he is broken. He's broken. I don't want to be in his head. That'll ruin him. Anyway, I like snarky defense mechanism, Ben. But
I apologize. My ADHD is so
bad. Like
right
I was pretty sure it was at least there was at least like Daryl saying like you really think Adam would let someone who like raped a whole bunch of people near his daughter. Like I was pretty sure there was at least that in the first book.
There's that. Adam says something, and then Adam explicitly is like he didn't do it. So
yeah, like at the reason he left is because he killed the guy who did do it. Okay, he's a vigilante. He's fine.
He doesn't say that, but he's like,
no. I don't know if it's like that. I don't think we're ever actually explicitly told that either. I think it's just heavily implied at some point in the first few books.
We're told that that's what happened. I think in the third book, but Adam says he didn't do it. And then Mercy is like, well, Adam would have asked him, and Ben can't lie to him.
Yeah, but in the next book, she's still like, maybe a rapist. She's like, I've lowered the odds to 30% instead of 90%.
Yeah.
She's like, how about 0%? He's a good boy. Ben's a good boy. He deserves all the scratches behind the ear and all the belly rubs, okay? Like... Now I'm upset at on Ben's behalf again because he spends the first 3 books almost dying 1 billion times saving her life or Adam's life or both, and she's still like, Ben hates women, he's a misogynist, and he might be a rapist. and even after she gets diddled, and he's the one that makes Adam wake the fuck up to himself. And she sees Ben have a breakdown. His life story about how he got all of the diddled when he was growing up and stuff. She's still like, Ben hates me, but I'm starting to kind of like him, except for the fact that he's a misogynist. It takes till book 9 or book 10 before she stops prefacing, not prefacing, but suffixing.
Yeah.
Epiloguing, whatever. The introduction to Ben is this is Ben, he's a misogynist.
Yeah.
It takes 9 books. Or something to or close to that. Maybe 1 more, maybe a couple, whatever. It's over half of the series though. This is Ben, he's a misogynist. Fuck off, he is a delight. He is a delight. And I want to pet Ben. If I ever get a giant red dog that looks like a wolf, I'm naming it Ben. Well, it's mine. You can't have it.
They're never going to meet each other.
Well, that's true. Fine, we can both have Ben. But you've got to gun theme going on.
Yeah, but
Hmm?
maybe
You
one
can't
day
break
he'll
that.
let me
Like if I
name
get
it.
an
Maybe
But
one
if
day
I
he'll
get
let me
another-
name the dog.
No, absolutely. No, your names are terrible.
You wouldn't let me name a dog, Ben?
No.
Why not?
I just don't.
But what if it was big and red and
for
looks like a
child
wolf?
or a dog? It's just not a good name.
Ben's a good boy.
If I ever get if I'm ever allowed to get another cat, if it's a girl, her name will be Stella, and if it's a boy, his name will be Solus. And if I'm allowed to have 2 more, I will get a girl and a boy, and there will be Stella and Solus, and then we'll have Luna, Stella and Solus, and I'll have my sun and moon and stars, and they will all be friends.
We were talking about why oh, this is a problem. You and me together. I'm not on Adderall right now, and so my ADHD is really bad. And she has ADHD too,
And I
so
haven't-
we're a problem.
And I haven't had my
You're a
Ritalin
problem
today, so
on Adderall.
Huh?
You're a problem even when you're on Adderall.
Anyway,
yeah, it's worse when we're off.
yeah, no, this is we're a mess.
We haven't.
We were
I
talking
don't-
about why Sexy Kitty Boy is what?
Is that the same as an anime cat girl?
You know what? Yes.
Okay.
I'm going with yes. So anime.
Well, I'm all for it.
He's all
all
for
kinda
sexy
cat,
kitty
like-
boy, is he?
What?
He's all for sexy kitty boy, is he? Is that what you were saying?
No, he said, "Is that the same as an anime cat girl?" And I said yes.
But we're talking in the masculine right now, so he wants a male. He's all for it.
I don't think that's
I think you two need to have a conversation.
anyway.
What?
Nothing.
So we were talking about why Catman is a bad love interest
Okay.
because he wanted his pack thing to rape the main character.
Well, I don't think he actually wanted them to. In
What do you
his
think? You talking about
defense.
what I meant?
I don't think he wanted them to actually rape her. He just wanted to see how she would deal with the threat of being raped. Not better.
I mean,
Not.
I know it's
what-
not better. That's not better.
Well, like, look, it's better.
That's not better.
But no. Okay, like, look, on a scale, like him wanting them to actually rape her is like hardcore, like psychotic, right? Like just
Yes.
as a test, like just be like, have fun, boys. Him wanting to see how she would react to them, to the implied threat of rape. It's still not good. It's not good.
I have a way. I
Like,
have
you know, like
Good question.
actual rape there, intent to rape.
Good question.
Like, okay, like good is down here. This is like that. He's there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like that
Let me-
much better.
I'm gonna ask him.
It's that
something.
much better.
Noah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on the list of ways to woo women,
Uh-huh.
I don't think he's trying
is-
to woo her.
You know me. Be careful when you ask this.
No, I think we're safe.
You may get an answer you don't want, but because you know me.
you're
I
right.
don't
But
think-
is sicking a pack of werewolves onto a woman to see how she reacts to the implied threat of rape a good method of wooing a woman?
I'm not saying it's a good method of wooing.
I think that would, if you're trying to test her to recruit her for something, that's one thing. But I don't see how that would woo her. Why would that?
Okay, give him a headphone.
I don't understand what that would do for me.
Here.
Give him a headphone. Why is there? Can you do that back your phone?
I can.
Scooch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Scooch.
Why am I scooching?
Sit in your lap.
What? You cannot sit in my lap.
Hey. Okay.
Hello.
So
The point that I was making was,
Mhm.
is it better or is it equally bad or slightly better? Okay, would it be worse if he actually intended for the werewolves to rape her, or if he just wanted her to think that they were going to rape her,
She
but
did
without
not
the
get raped
intent
for
to
the
actually
record,
do
right?
so?
No, she didn't.
She did not. But they approached her very rapey. So is it equally bad if there was no intent to actually follow through on the rape, or is it slightly better?
I mean, the result's the same.
I still don't understand his intentions. This character's intentions.
He was testing to see how she would. He was testing her to see how wily she was.
I don't think it's that bad. No, no, I think they're pretty much equal, honestly.
I think I think it's marginally better, like that much better, that there was no actual intent to follow through on the rape.
I guess they're
That
both
much
pretty
better.
bad, though.
I mean, I will say,
Yeah,
like, the result.
Like
the
I said, if
result
the
on the-
scale's like that, and that's like actual rape, then it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like no rapies down here.
Yeah.
It's
I'm glad we
marginally
put
better.
rape so high on the scale.
Yeah.
Well, the rape's the top.
Yeah.
The rape's the top. Like, it's fine. Like, it's right up the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty
That-
close.
that was
I
all.
guess the intent of rape, I mean, I guess if the end result, she doesn't get raped in the end anyway. I don't know.
But like putting
Kinda
somebody
Oh, and then
in
he gets
fear-
mad. And then he wait, we forgot this bit. Then he gets mad
Oh
at
yeah.
her for working, for getting out of it without hurting anyone. But she couldn't
I mean, I
hurt
can kinda
anyone
see.
because then they would kill her.
So
she
the
used magic
werewolves
word
were
to
not
make
in on the
her
test, correct?
No, they
the
were.
werewolves were not in. They were in on the
They
were.
test.
Yeah, they were.
But she
acting
had
under his
but
orders.
she had the understanding that if she hurt them while trying to defend herself from being raped, then she would die. Because of like the rules or whatever.
This is a weird book.
Yeah, I know. I know it's a weird book.
I mean, the book I'm listening to had a lady getting, had these weird devolved humans trying to reproduce with her for 8 months in a cave, but didn't work because she's infertile. So
Okay.
yeah. I mean that happened between books, so like you don't actually witness it, but like it's basically implied that she had been down there for like 8 or 9 months, but she was infertile, and she was like, yeah, eventually they would have probably killed me when they figured out that them trying to inseminate me wasn't doing anything.
That's awful.
And she was like tied down in a cave, like and laying in her own shit and all that stuff.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What book is this? I don't want to read it. I want to know so I cannot.
So it's a trilogy. It's based off of like
This is a man book.
it is a man book. It's like
book.
it's actually
Wait.
the only sexual thing in the whole trilogy.
Wait.
I don't know
By
if that's a
default human,
sexual
do you mean
thing.
cavemen?
No. I don't mean cavemen. They're like
Oh.
okay. So basically, the premise of the book is that Jules Verne's
Just in
Journey to the
case.
Center of the Earth was based
Okay.
off of the writings of a Russian back in like the 1500s, and it turns out that that the Russian was actually correct. The Jules Verne didn't know it was correct, but it actually was, and that there was this whole world down there. It's very like B movie sci-fi kind of deal, but it's an entertaining read.
With cavemen,
and basically, no, they're not cavemen. They're like blind.
But they lived in a cave.
You know what? A better.
No, she was tied up in a cave.
No, she was tied up in a cave. A better. They do live in complete darkness underground. Honestly, a better like. A better comparison would be. I know you know what they are, Laura. Mara, do you know what strigoi are?
Yes, she does.
I know what strigoi are.
Okay, so think strigoi, completely animalistic and completely blind. That's more what they're like. They live in caves. They
Are
can
they
crawl around on the
albino?
ceiling. Because they live in caves, yes.
That's creepy.
Yeah, and so I say they're devolved humans
and they were
because there
raped.
used to be.
And
They
were
used to
for-
be humans. Thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, they were humans that lived in this center of the world place, and then they got
So they're
cut
like-
off in the caves.
So they're like those salamanders that they discovered that live underground and
Yes.
don't have eye sockets.
Correct. But think of if that happened to people. That's basically what they are.
Yeah, I don't want to.
And the only way they reproduce is by capturing women who go into caves.
So the moral of the story is stay out of caves.
Don't go into fucking caves. Yeah.
Hey, babe, make me a promise.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go into a cave. I don't want you getting raped by a salamander human.
They call them dog people, but because their faces are kind of stretched out like dogs.
Why?
I don't know.
What's the purpose of that? I understand the blind thing. Because
I
it's
honestly
dark,
don't
so they
know.
don't need
I
eyes.
guess because their sniffers got bigger.
Yeah, could be because they'd have to sniff things, and their ears are
Are they
like
big?
all the way to the side of their head. Yeah, well, it's like a slit in the side of their head as opposed to being like actual ears,
Oh.
so they
So
can
they
hear
look like Voldemort.
omnidirectionally.
They look like a
Kind
wolf
of,
in
yeah,
Voldemort.
but like big sharp. They describe their teeth as being like real chisel like, and so yeah, any men that come into caves, they
What do they
tear them
eat?
apart. Eat people.
Oh, they eat the men. Okay.
They eat the
So they're
men, and then the
carnivorous?
women.
They're carnivorous.
Yes,
cannibal.
and then if the women can't produce or something else, they'll just eat them too. And
I've got a
to feed the women they keep captive, they feed them the men.
Oh.
Yeah, they force feed them the men.
I've got another question.
Okay.
What is their Latin species name? Because they're not Homo sapiens.
They don't have one.
Well, that's rude.
I know. I apologize. It'd probably be like Homo troglodytes or something like that. Cave dwelling person. That's what that means.
That's fair.
But that's actually not the whole plot of the book. That's like actually
you know
very
what?
small plot.
You know what? I feel like now you're trying to defend your literary choices.
Well, it's better than the crawfish people that like to crucify people.
What read?
It's better than that because the gist of it is in this underground world where in like on the surface, how when the fish and the arthropods were competing to see who would take over the land first. In our world, the fish and goddamn Tiktaalik won. In this world, it was the arthropods, and so their people are crawfish people. That's how I.
I just want to be clear. He refuses. You refuse to read Blackwoods.
That's not true. I've tried listening to it.
So you'd rather read about rapey cavemen?
Again, that's like 0.5% of the book.
I'm just
The rest of the book is people dying horribly to giant arthropods, basically.
No, I don't.
It's a book I can turn my brain off and listen to. It's not that I think it's some great work of literature.
You're so
It's like when you watch It's like when you watch a bad sci-fi movie and you're like, well, this is something to do for an hour and a half. You know what I mean?
It's okay. It's
If you're gonna
okay.
insult me, you don't get privileges if you're an insult.
Here, come here. Show him to the people. I hate about
He's
that.
such a doofus. He's so. I still
But
love
you know what I
how
mean?
every part of it is out
Yes.
of proportion. Carbine,
Yes.
obviously not Noah.
Yes. Because like he's so long. Like watch how long he is. Like it's like he's very
Yeah, but he's so-
really,
But he's so thick, but he has like the narrowest little snout,
yeah, he has a very small head.
and his
And
legs are
his-
tiny and dainty.
I think you can't tell obviously here, but his tongue is way too big for his head.
When he pants, his tongue doesn't fit in his head. He can't actually put it in his face.
He's like a woodpecker, how their tongue like goes all the way up in their skulls. It's like that.
I did not know that about woodpeckers, and now I'm horrified.
Yeah, it's like curls up like around the back of their brain. Stop.
It like cushions it so that when they do the pecking, they're
Don't be rude.
Anyway,
Oh,
I don't know what else to say about this book.
I don't know,
That
but for
doesn't
some
have where to
reason,
get
just talking about like the anatomy of a woodpecker just reminded me of the song my daughter was singing to me yesterday. It was the Butterfly Life Cycle song.
What?
Would you like to hear it? My daughter was
Yes.
singing to me yesterday the Butterfly Life Cycle song. It's pretty short. It was just eggs, caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly. Over again.
Sometimes the orange triangle song will just pop into my head.
I haven't thought about that song in so long, and
I'm sure you haven't, because I'm sure for me, the number of kids songs that I have known have only really come from you, and so they haven't really gone up in number.
You know what though?
But
that chick who sung those songs, she would get so into it, like the square one.
Yeah.
Like, it's a square and it's blue. It has 4 sides just for you.
And I know that your kids are like past the orange triangle song phase, but
yeah. Also,
no, I haven't had
I think
kids.
that frog is
I haven't.
still that frog. You know what? I'm gonna find a replica of that frog, and then that
you're
way,
gonna
when you
send
and
it to
Addie both have kids, you are both gonna get it, and the kids will inevitably flip the frog upside down and bump it, and the triangle, because that's why I would always play. Because when it was upside down,
2,
2,
3.
3.
Yeah, there the pause before the 3.
Have you ever sung that to him just randomly and see what he says?
I've like been humming it before, and he's been like, "What are you doing?" And like, don't worry about it. Just it's a core memory.
Just one day randomly, just while you're making dinner one night or something, just belt it out and see what happens. And when he questions it, then sing the square.
Don't be salty that it's a boy book. It's fine.
It's okay. Let's be honest. Whenever I explain literally any book to Stixie, he looks at me the same way we were looking at him.
What?
It's fine. Whenever I explain literally any book that we read to Stixie, he looks at me the exact same way that we were looking at Noah. It's fine.
Yeah. I know. Huh?
Have you ever looked up
Except for this one.
Kraft's cat was named?
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about this book. I think we
don't
covered
know
on
either.
like
look again, and like I know that we didn't really like the plot that we gave was only a few sentences, was like one sentence. Like, someone dies and she goes to investigate, and then it turns out there's a UP that wants her to have these babies, and they kill him. I can't tell you anymore because I don't actually know.
Honestly, there's a lot of fucking about. And I don't.
And you know what would have been really pleasant with all that fucking about? Some expositional conversations. That would have been a delight.
Here's the thing about book 1 in a series like this. This is, I'm gonna assume, because if this is in the same, I've read some Harry Dresden books. Harry Dresden, I had a harder time getting into, but it was fine.
No.
I enjoyed myself just fine. But if it's anything like Harry Dresden or Marcy Thompson, it's episodic. So, it's monster of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And to, the plots to these books, they don't have to be complicated, right? It can just be, there's a bad guy, there's a monster, we gotta stab it. It's like, okay, I'm with it.
Oh, but that's better than my boy book.
Yeah. Oh.
Whatever.
Yes.
But like in book 1, you gotta tell me what's up, man.
Can I also tell you something? Because there are 10 books in this, like 10 official novels in this series, right? Then there's some short stories or whatever. I don't want you to read it if you don't want the spoiler, okay? About what makes her so special.
What makes her so special?
Book 9, you know that Roland dude that's the head of the people? That's like 4,000 years old and the oldest magical being alive, and
Is that
how
her
he makes
dad?
all of his lovers infertile.
So,
Is that her daddy?
so as to not breed with them, that's her daddy, and he tried to have her killed
Okay.
when she was still in the womb, and then when she was born. Okay, but book 9. Are you ready? Magic Binds. The Goodreads could have went to say how many books are in the series. Book 9. Kate and former Beast Lord Karen Lennett are finally making their relationship official. Book 9. Book 9.
Okay.
But apparently but in book 8, they're mates. So they're unofficially together, but they're mates.
I mean, okay.
Because the way that I understand mates in like literally any law that has mates is like effectively like once you're a matey mate, you're a thing. Mating is more binding than marriage. Am I wrong? Why are there
No.
African lions on every single fucking cover? Every cover. Go to Goodreads
I
right
don't
now.
know.
But
Sorry, I was
African lion. Burns.
I was entering a giveaway for Soul Taken. I'm sorry.
Burns.
Sorry.
African lion. Strikes. African lion. Bleeds. African lion. Plays. African lion.
Where's
I
the
don't know.
series thing?
I'm also only looking at the primary works books, not the like short stories that fit in between them because they don't count.
Can you send me a link?
Rises.
Why can't I find
Yes.
that?
I don't know, but I will send it to you. It's fine. It's fine. I've got you. There you go.
Thank you.
Rises, African lion. Breaks, African lion. Shifts, African lion. Binds, African lion. In triumphs, African lion.
Can I admit something? For whatever reason, for me, like covers that have a like a lion, a wolf, whatever, just some kind of like plain old animal on it like this.
Mm-hmm.
My brain is always like, ugh. I don't know. It like knocks a star off in my brain. Just
Even with Alpha and Omega?
immediately. No, that's like different though, because I don't know why that's different.
Charles is only human in one of them.
Yeah, but it's like an actual art piece that was drawn by somebody. It's not just like a faded stock photo of a lion.
That's true. Like she's interacting with the wolf in some way. In every single one of them. It's not just some random. Like one of them, she's literally hugging him. But in Cry Wolf, like her hands on his shoulder.
Yeah,
and they're both like
it's
snarling off into the distance.
Because it's not just like a floating wolf head.
Yeah.
Like these covers look like goofy romance novels, which is fine, but they're not goofy romance novels.
Oh, I like this cover. It's the Call of the Hunt cover, which is like an omnibus of the novella to book 3. And it's kind of cool. It looks basic when you first look at it, but then you look at like how they're sitting in on the shore, and then you look at their reflection. And it's kind of cool.
Oh, that is cool.
I like it. What are you? I really want to actually buy the graphic novels of these.
I have
there's
part of Cry Wolf.
part 1.
Yeah, I've got part 1.
Yeah. The covers are gorgeous.
The
I will say that, the
Mercy
cover-
Thompson and Alpha and Omega covers are really pretty. The art is incredible.
Yeah, and honestly as well, I think they went the right choice having them drawn.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, because at least then it's not just some like random chicken leather that kind of looks like the MC that it changes book to book because you can't find another photo of the same chick.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I really like that approach. I think it looks really nice.
Yeah, there's actually, and I'll have to see if I can. Oh, did I save it somewhere? There's this one cover style that I've only seen once, and I really like it. Documents, covers. There we go. Let me. No, that's not it. Nope. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna I'll just text it to you. There we go. That's nice and easy. Maybe. There we go. I have no idea what this book is. I just like the cover style. It's different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've seen covers. That would also be really cool as well if the picture part was like, what is it? Embossed? Is that the right word? Not embossed. Is it embossed?
What are you trying to say?
It pops out a little bit. Like you run your hand over it, and like the back would be matte.
Yeah, that would be embossed. Yeah.
Yeah,
embossed.
And it would be glossy and embossed. That would be. I don't know if it actually is, but in my head, that's how it would be.
Yeah.
I do think that bit is glossy, whereas the rest is matte, because just from that picture, it looks like that's what it would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it. But I don't know. I don't even want to read the next book, and we should. We should. But I think if we feel the same way after the next book, maybe we'll DNF, because I don't want to go through this for 10 books.
I would say we could do that, or we could just give the Dresden Files a shot. I've read the first 3 Dresden books. They're way better than this. I'm going to go ahead and tell you.
I will say, can I just say one thing there? And one of the criticisms that we were having of the people doing a 1-star on Mooncall was they were like, didn't even read the next book. And it's like, well, obviously the first book is going to be the worst book in the series because they have to exposition literally the entire world. Give it a go. Now, this series did not exposition the entire world in the first book.
So,
but I do think we should give book 2 a shot and see what happens.
We'll do book 2. I'll do book 2.
But then, if it gets better, we'll continue. Like, if we end up actually enjoying it, we'll continue. But if not, then, yeah, I'm happy to do Dresden.
I'm just saying, Dresden's actually good. It's actually good. You will at least know the names of people.
Who is Jim? Who is Jim?
I'm not confident. I think
Nick
he's a
is the
werewolf.
Crusader, right?
Huh? Who's Nick?
Nick is the Crusader. You know the Crusader dude that they captured, the homeless man that wasn't a homeless man, he was a Crusader knight?
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's Nick.
Okay.
I think that's who Nick was, because Nick was Nick's name got mentioned a lot at the end, and I'm pretty sure he was the Crusader. Who is Jim? I know who Derek is. Oh, there was also
know
like
who
that weird red herring love
Crest.
interest and red
I
herring.
remember him,
bad
toothpaste
guy,
man.
Crest. There was toothpaste involved.
Because Crest is a brand of toothpaste in the U.S.
Oh, well, not here.
Okay.
We have Colgate and Oral-B.
Oh, we have that too, but Crest is another brand of toothpaste here. So my
I
brain was-
couldn't tell you any other brands other than those two. That's all I know. Jim, that's what I'm looking up. Who is Jim? I need to know who he is. I'm sorry, Jim. Jim, even Jim. Hello, sunshine, said Jim's voice. Jim's voice dropped low. Who is he though?
At least in Mercy, it's like Daryl is blah, 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 blah. That's Adam's second. He worked at a government think tank at the Pacific Northwest Laboratory. Blah, 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 blah. Now I know who Daryl is.
No.
Warren was a gay Texas cowboy. He was Adam's third. That was
Wait,
Ben.
I'm
He was a
sorry.
misogynist. He's a computer geek. Sorry. I'm salty.
That's okay. Oh, apparently, Jim has a bulldog ugly mug, but with a very smooth, melodious voice.
Kind of a nice thing to say.
Okay, so he pulled her out of a mud pit full of melted snow and hydra. He was the closest thing to a partner I had. But what is he?
Why are there Hydra? Is that a fair question? Is that a fair
Don't know.
question?
I don't know because there's not enough exposition to know if that's weird or not.
What are the Hydra like?
Do you want to know one thing that did make me laugh though? When we first meet Bono,
Yes.
he had spiky hair, wore black leather, and called himself Bono after some long forgotten singer. That pleased me.
Yeah.
That pleased me that Bono is referred to in this as some long forgotten singer. I'm like, oh, if only that day were today. That was all. But yeah, it doesn't explain who the people are in this, but we talk to them so much. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't realize that the people, for the longest time in listening to this, because we're listening, not reading, I didn't realize that the people was capitalized. For a long time, I just thought that like the people was just like humans en masse.
Oh, is it capital?
Yes, because they're an organization. And Roland is the head of it. And it was that conversation that made me go, oh, the people are a thing.
If only they explained it.
If only she told me that. Kate.
Writing advice from
Daniels.
book club with Bay. See if your
people.
writing makes sense when it's read out loud.
Yeah, so this is who the people are. Proficient in both magic and technology, the people defy categorization. Well, that's why she didn't categorize them, because they defy it. Part cult, part corporation, part a scientific institution, the people concern themselves with necromancy, study, raising, and the care of the undead. Like the Order, the people have a national presence with bases in most major cities. The people are obscenely wealthy and seemingly interested solely in increasing their wealth. They control the largest vampire stable on the continent, because you have stables of vampires, and are not shy about wielding their influence. Unemotional and cold, they are the rivals of the shapeshifters.
I have a question.
No.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can I ask it?
Hmm?
Why was that not on page 1?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
That's all you had to say.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
long
again,
does
I
that...
should not.
I should not have to Google this. Like, and you don't have to tell us in chapter 1. Just the first time she goes to meet, like the first time they get mentioned, it's like, oh, well, maybe the people were behind it.
The people
Then
were
it
blah,
goes-
blah, blah. Thank you.
The people are blah, 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 blah. Thank you, inner monologue. Appreciate
That's all you
you
had to
You tell-
say. We were in a
Yeah.
magic wave. A magic wave is blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's all you had to say.
This is first person. This is the MC telling us their life story in the future. Okay. And
Why the fuck wasn't that in the book?
like, that's one thing that any more of writing about a book club with Bay. When you were writing a book in the
Sorry.
first person, when you're writing a book in the first person, what that is the main character is telling you their life story. When I tell you a story, if I'm talking, right, and then I mention something that you've never heard of before, that I know you don't know, what I'll do is okay, this is also assuming that I can actually tell a story without tangenting a million times, but let's just say I'm a normal person. I'll put a pin in the story and briefly explain what it is I'm talking about, and then we go back to where I put that pin and continue. That's how people tell their life stories to people,
Right. And there's a
especially
way
when
to
it's
do it
starting at a
too.
certain point.
Right, because you know
Like if-
you might say, "Well, exposition and info dumping is annoying." No, it's not. Because here's how you do it. Okay, let's say I'm like let's say you don't know what tape is. Okay, because this is what I have in front of me, and I'm gonna say I used a piece of Scotch tape. Let's just say we don't know what tape is. Okay, for this hypothetical, I used a piece of Scotch tape. So blah blah blah.
What Scotch
I would
tape?
I would say tape is a sticky adhesive or something like that. I wouldn't say Scotch was a company that was founded, and we don't need that.
No, it's just it's a piece of
It was
plastic
a-
with adhesive on one side that sticks things together.
Yeah, it's a translucent plastic.
You know what? Let's
like
pick an easy
adhesive,
thing.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever.
Let's pick an easy thing.
Skittles. Skittles is a good one. Skittles is a type of candy.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
Chopsticks. She
Yeah.
picks up her chopsticks. Chopsticks are two long narrow sticks used in place of a fork when eating food.
Yeah, there you go. You don't need to give me an exposition about the whole company, but just like a short what it is, right?
Yeah,
Because
and again, you don't have to do all of your exposition at the
It's
beginning.
not
You don't
info
have to
dump.
say, "Look, this is the world we live in, etc., etc." Let's spend 2 chapters on it. No, it's like you have a scene, you have one scene, you get them engaged, you add a little bit of mystery, and then you're like, "By the way, I'm Kate Daniels. Blah blah blah. I'm a merc. Rah 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 rah." And that's about a paragraph or two. Just a quick cliff notes of my life so far. And then,
but
just
yeah,
as
and when-
each new element is introduced, then you pause. You take 2 sentences to just be like again, when maybe it was the people. And then just say that's the end of the chapter. It's like, bum, 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 we go see the people. Paragraph 1. The people are a corporation, part cult, part blah. They control the human population of the city, and they have the largest stable of vampires in the country. When I approach their offices, oh, look at that. We got all that exposition done in one sentence. Ah.
It's simple. It's so simple. And also, when you were meeting characters that the main character already knows, right? Because this is going to happen, presumably.
Yeah.
Right? This happens
Well, it
in
happened
Mercy.
in this book. We
You
meet
know?
Jim for the first time.
Most of the characters in this book are people she already knows. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't, honestly, I
I'd say
can't
about
fucking
half.
tell.
I'd say half.
About half of them. But, and so, for example, in Mercy Thompson, when we meet characters she already knows,
She's like,
Adam
Adam's
of
the
the
alpha, and he's my
Adam's
neighbor.
the alpha of the Columbia Basin Pack. He's my grumpy neighbor. Okay, thank you. Daryl works at a think
And
tank. Okay, thank you. Warren is gay.
Yeah.
And I met him at a gas station when he was working there. Here's how we met. Okay, thank you.
Um,
And the story of how they met actually tells you something extra about Adam. Okay, cool.
yeah. Because, yeah. So, like, and she explains why Warren was struggling to life working
Yeah.
at a gas station.
Yeah, but it
Like,
also just tells you something about Adam's character and stuff like that. Like
And
it's just
and it also adds to the world building a bit more as well. Like it
Yeah, it
explains
does.
pack dynamics a bit more. It explains like you
Mhm.
get like it's like a 5-layer exposition. It's great. And if you can find ways to do that, if you can find ways to world build, give background on one character while adding a little tidbit about an already known character, excellent. But it's that like that's great. It's not vital though. Like again, she could have just said, "We need to go see the people." The people were well, this, and they do a thing, and they are the pack's biggest rival. Done. The pack and the people were always on were in a constant state of cold war, always on the brink of actual war. Excellent. That gives us a lot about the world dynamics as well. But we didn't get that.
Yeah, it's just it's not that complicated. It doesn't have to be an info dump. It's not every piece of exposition is not an info dump, okay? Don't be afraid of exposition. It's fine.
It's only an info dump if you give a book's worth of exposition at once. You can give a little bit of character exposition and a bit of world exposition, and then again, as each new element of the world is introduced or mentioned, rather,
Just give relevant info as needed. Like it's fine.
yeah. And this continues throughout the course of the entire series. Like, for example, when she meets Baba Yaga, we get a quick little summary that Baba Yaga IRL is a witch, and in the book she's a fae. That's the way it goes, right?
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around? Yeah. So she's like, I always thought Baba Yaga was a witch, but apparently she's a fae. That there is actually tying Baba Yaga in the book to the real mythos of Baba Yaga and saying that the real mythos is incorrect.
In the book anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
right.
It gives you the background that you need in relation to this character. And then it also because one thing I also really just love about Mercy is because she does tie in like so much actual real mythology. And I mean real as in it exists, not necessarily that it's true, because it's mythology. This is one where she gives hints to stuff and it's okay. Like I don't feel mad if I end up wanting to go and Google something like the river monster. I ended up Googling the river and I Googled the coyote story about his sisters. Where there were berries in his tummy or something, but the dirty version is like they were his feces.
Yeah.
That's the dirty version. I didn't mind having to Google the dirty version.
Yeah.
Because if you don't look it up, you're not confused, right? If you don't look it up. But if you do look it up, it's just like, oh, that's a fun little tidbit.
Yeah.
It's fine. And the fact that the the river monster, it combines two myths, which was the one that Coyote defeated, like where they all defeated with the blades the first time, and the river demon. Those are two different myths, but they do still get tied together IRL. Sometimes, depending on who's telling the story and whether or not they were the same creature, it's a shrug, and that was kind of cool to find out that there were two different myths in the book, and then it's like, well, it turns out they were the same thing. And in IRL, it's like, well, they're two different myths, but depending on who you speak to, they're the same thing. So it's fine. I don't mind Googling that kind of stuff. But I do mind having to Google what the fuck is the people. Because this is something you created. Authors. You created this. You should tell me what it is.
Yeah.
It's rude. Like, and again, I want to know how big a were rat is. Is it just twice the size of a normal rat? Because that's bad enough. Is it a wolf-sized rat? Because that's outright terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, they don't. She never explains what a magic wave is.
Or what it does, or how we got here. Like, just, I don't know. But
Just like
yeah,
we're
we'll
in a
read book
magic
2,
wave.
and I don't know. Hopefully things get better. I mean, people like this
I
for
think-
a reason, right?
Yeah, I think because I have looked up stuff to try and understand what was happening, I think I would be going into book 2 with a little bit more understanding as to what the fuck is happening. So I think it's inherently going to be far less confusing. But if the scene changes don't improve, then I'm still going to be confused.
Yeah.
There's no clear scene change ever.
No, there's not.
And I think, again, I don't know how much of it is the narrator, because the narrator doesn't seem to take beats and pauses.
No.
And so you know how like when you end a scene but not a chapter, how like you have like an extra space between the paragraphs to
Yes.
Normally a narrator would have like an extra, say, 3-second pause there, just to clearly delineate the scene change. I don't know if this narrator did. Well, she obviously didn't, because we didn't pick up on it. That might have made
No.
the scene changes easier. I don't know though. I don't know if it's how it was written or how she read it or both.
I don't know. I mean, there are
And
no
I won't know unless I read. Yeah, I
there
won't know
also
unless I
aren't
actually
any
read the book.
establishing shots anyway.
Yeah, I don't, and I'm not. I don't really want to sit here and read it. Yeah.
So
okay.
anyway,
So yeah, the book does have like the 3 asterisks to break up scenes and stuff, but so I think
there
part
aren't
of it is the
establishing
narrator.
shots. Like,
I think it's both.
So-
I think it was a combination of the two.
but the next book we're doing is Fallen. So that'll be fun.
And that will be with Addie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to work out when
That's the next book
we're doing that. Yes. And
So
I'm more excited than I was before I started reading this book.
I'm actually excited. I'm excited to do that one.
I was like, I had some like nostalgia excitement right for it, but I also know I can't remember. It's the one where they go back in time and stuff like that. That book, I'm just like, this is fucking ridiculous. But
The first one
Then
I'm just excited for.
but then I remembered the little gargoyle dude, and I love the little gargoyle dude. I think he's a gargoyle. Is he a gargoyle?
I don't remember,
Anyway.
honestly. I just remember reading the first book in math class and getting in trouble for it
Yeah.
as a teenager.
Yeah, so I was having
So-
like the nostalgia excitement, but now I'm just like, look, even if it's shit, it'll at least be enjoyable because we know what's happening.
I just
And
I'm,
stuff
here,
that you
I'm,
don't know is happening, you're not meant to know, so it's fine.
I'm so ready for the teen. I'm ready for the teen angst. I'm gonna be here for it. I have a feeling I'm just gonna come out of it like I stand.
I have the signed copies of I think the first 3 books. Which number is Passion?
I don't know. I remember the first book. I don't remember the other 2 or the other 4. How many are there?
There's 3 and a novella that has to be read,
Okay.
I think. Let me just double check. It is Fallen Torment, Passion, Fallen in Love, Rapture. That's right. So there's 4. My bad. So there's 4 plus a novella, and that has to happen. That's the they go back in. They're back in time in that one. I can't remember exactly, but then there's also Unforgiven, which I've never read, and it's Cam's story. So we're going to be doing that one too. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. I haven't read that one, so that one's going to be new.
Okay.
But Passion is the third book, so I've got signed copies of the first 3 books because I met the author. Just doing a book signing for Passion, and I'm like, I'm taking my other books too. I don't care. She's signing them all, and she did. I'm not gonna lie, like this was like quintessential. How old was I when this? I was 22. But I still enjoyed
I want to go to
it,
Dragon
okay?
Con. I want to go to Dragon Con this year.
When is it?
It's always Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend? Oh, totally. Soon.
But Patty's always at Dragon Con.
Who?
Patricia Briggs.
Oh.
Puppy eyes. Pulse.
Please. I just wanted to sign one of my books in person.
Haven't you been and done that before?
No, I've never met her.
Oh, please don't try that. Please.
I've been to Dragon Con, but
Son of a bitch.
Okay, hypothetically, if he does say yes and lets you go to Dragon Con, and you do meet Patty, are you going to tell her that you do a book club and almost every book gets compared to Mercy?
no. No.
Are you sure?
No, because then I have to be like, I trash talk most books. Like,
No, just Mercy is your standard of what is an amazing book. That's all.
we've grown so persnickety in our old age.
Let's even see if she's on the list. Before
She
you
is. It's on her
She-
website.
Oh, awesome. I wanna go.
So next year,
This looks fun.
you're just gonna have to stay for like 2 months. It's fine.
Yeah, that's not gonna work though. I have Spawn. If I had Holly Marie Combs is gonna be there. Why? Does she still act? Has she been in anything since Pretty Little Liars? Sorry, I'm just saying who else is there.
Oh, the author of the Dresden Files will be there too.
Cool. Wait, are you who I think you are? No, you are not. There's a few people there that would be cool to meet.
Yeah.
Telling me I have to let you.
Anyway,
Yeah. Sorry. We should stop looking at websites. Yeah, so fall is next, and then either this or the second fall, like the next book in this or the next book in fall, and it depends on how much we hate ourselves as to which one we do after that.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll have to talk to Addie and work out.
I need to see when, but probably sometime next week, I would guess.
Yeah. I mean, luckily
Anyway.
it's a book that you can finish in like a day, so
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
So-
well,
Anyway, that was
Bye.
fun. We will see you guys next
that
time.
was a nightmare.